You're watching the Batter Fans Network.
The heroes are back. Beards, funky balls, rapping pink and black. Coming live from the 305, it's official tissue. The Batter Fan, Chris and Dan, weekly rocking with you. We talk Messi, Boosie, Jordy, Lucho, the Fat Four, to Ben Cram, Noah, Ruiz, Fred. What more could you ask for? Tighten up and get ready, listen in on the pod. Solana and X in Espanol, just to even the odds. Breakdowns and gas bagging, join the tribe and just vibe. Free 99, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't hesitate, say what's up, go ahead and come in. No question about it, I'm ready to get hurt again.
No question about it, I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris, the hair on the back. Welcome everybody to wow, my voice just went. Welcome everybody to episode number 320 of the Battle Heroes Podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada, and alongside me as always, Mr. KBD. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, this game felt kind of icky. It didn't feel great. I'm not as happy as I feel like we should be after a 2-0 win. But we'll get into it, I guess.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought it was lackluster. I thought that I don't want to say Jamaica, Cavalier, right? Even though they're from Jamaica,
Cavalier,
everybody
yes.
keeps saying Jamaica. Cavalier,
Yes.
Cavalier played above what everybody expected them to.
No, round of applause to them. Round of
you
applause to
shouldn't
them.
Never underestimate your opponent and the pace. I said when we had Bam on last yesterday was it or the day before? Yeah, it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I said playing the long ball or the counter is our weakness, and it showed today. They just didn't have the quality, right?
Yes.
They're all young kids. They're average age of 20 and a half years. So they didn't have the quality to finish. But I thought that they showed out, man. I really do. And we'll talk about that goal before the half because I thought it was a goal. But, whatever. We can get into that as we go through the rundown. But let's start off as we usually do, the atmosphere. What do you think about the stadium?
Well, apparently during the broadcast, they said that the capacity was 1,000 plus. I don't know where the 15,000 was, but it was 15,000 plus, I guess.
And I saw some Jamaican flags out there.
Yes, yeah, they came out to represent for sure. Well, but that's something that we've always seen sound down in South Florida is Jamaican fans always represent for their country, and especially for a team that's kind of put the country on their back in this sort of, competition. So
that was cool. But yeah, I also thought that it wasn't well attended, but that's how most weekday games are going to be. But and then Blake saying 15K showed. Oh, okay, maybe 15. I mean, the stadium capacity is what, 23,000. So maybe 15. All right. So, and your general thoughts before you go into the game specifically in the starting 11.
I mean, again, my general thoughts is this win didn't feel comfy. It's not. It's an icky feeling. I don't feel. If I tell you Inter Miami wins 2-0 without watching the game, you'd be like, "Oh, that sounds like a great game." This game was not that great.
No, I think Jamaica got deflated. Once they scored that first goal, not when they took away their goal in the second half, because they came out in the second half blazing.
Yes.
Also, after they allowed that first goal to Allende, I feel like they got a bit deflated, and Miami took the air out of the ball a little bit. But yeah, I definitely think that I saw a lot of people saying that Miami needs to learn their lesson, not to underestimate anybody, and I think maybe that might have been what happened today. I also think that that's still going to be our weakness. That's our weakness. Getting caught on the counter when we're playing high, and the fact that Jordi Alba pushes up so high, and Ian Frey wasn't pushing up very high today. Jordi Alba was. Ian Frey would stay back, so it almost became like a back line of three. It was like three center backs because Ian Frey would kind of push off to the center, but we kept leaving the wide area open for them to just keep, just attacking those spaces and getting into dangerous situations, but they just didn't have the quality to make the most out of those. But
Yeah.
And shout out to Albertico. He's in my homeland, Colombia.
Oh, nice.
So shout out to joining us from Colombia.
And Sean is clarifying Cavalier, not Jamaica. We get it. Yes. But
we literally just said that, didn't we?
Yes.
We said that that everybody keeps calling it Jamaica and it's Cavalier.
But that's because you just called it Jamaica. But it's
Oh,
but it's okay because our last guest literally said that Cavaliers literally representing Jamaica in this. Like Jamaica understands what the mission is in this sense. So to call them Jamaica, I feel like it's respectful as well. So
all right. So I'm ready to get all the hate. Chris, do you think that with Messi, this game looks a lot different?
I do. Yeah, I do think it looks a little bit more organized because it was very disorganized in the beginning. I mean, look, you could tell the quality on both sides, right? Even without Messi. But with Messi, obviously, it would have been a little bit more structured, more patient. I think that players on Cavalier's side, knowing that Messi's not playing, takes a little bit of the nerves off. Not that much because you're still playing against
that's a
three
great point.
other
Also,
great plus players. But when you know Messi's there, like the nerves are shot.
I
So if
think
he's not there, it kind of makes it easier to play.
I think that they might have maybe everybody underestimated the pace that Jamaica. I said again, Cavalier was going to bring because everybody on that pitch was fast, and
Oh,
as soon as they had the opportunity, they were out and running. And I think even defensively, the way they would close down spaces because it was just like we couldn't connect a good ball in the final third for the majority of the first half, even some of the second half. And I felt like they thought that they saw an open space to complete a pass, and that space would get shut down quickly by the Jamaican defenders. I think that the speed in both sides of the ball, defensively and offensively, had a big effect on Miami. It was a bad game just in general for Miami, I thought.
yeah. And look at Sean saying Mascherano didn't set up tactics. He went to children tactics in second half. I mean,
I don't
and
know
then
what he means by children's tactics.
well, probably like basic play, I guess. There's a lot of people slamming Kremaski, and it's
Did you think it was weird that they played Kermaki on the left side today when they played him on the right side against Houston?
Yeah, man. I felt like today. I mean, let's get to the starting 11. Like the starting 11 itself was kind of Aki too. Like let's. I'm gonna point this out, guys. So we have Ustadi so far playing the huge goalkeeper, Alba playing left back, Frey playing right back, and then center backs we got Martinez and Falcon. First time for Martinez for a bit, and then first time them both playing together. Busquets and Redondo playing the sort of CDM deal, Segovia playing the 10, and then you got Kremaski lined up as the left wing, Allende lined up as a right wing, and then Suarez up top as your lone striker. Again, to me, weird. Kremaski on the left, weird. Martinez, Falcon, I get what Mascherano's doing there because he doesn't want to risk starting Noah Allen and Aviles when he needs them for the regular games, I guess. And he wants to
this game is more important though. Like this is the thing.
Well, that's the thing. I wouldn't have played those guys.
Martinez Falcon, I'm okay played. Falcon, I'm okay. But I would have done Falcon Aviles. I would have done Falcon Allen. I'm not sure how Martinez ended up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Allen has more pace than Martinez. Like
yes.
You
need pace.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what this was. And when we've had the discussion between Bright versus Redondo, a lot of time we go back to, I guess it depends on the opponent. I feel like this is when you wanted to have Bright out there, no?
Yes. Can I mention something here? I want to mention something here. Pedri Potter says, Kremaski has asked, these guys won't criticize the players of Academy, so they call homegrown bums. Meanwhile, they slander Redondo for everything. Pedri, let's get one thing straight, my boy. Okay? Your boy Redondo's been playing like straight up dookie water. Okay? Let's just get that out of the way. Second of all, we've crapped on people like Kremaski. So let's get that out of the way. Because your argument right here is straight buns.
Oh, Pedri might not watch every episode though.
Well, Pedri, welcome and welcome to school. Have a seat, grab a paper and pen. Because I got notes.
But Kiremaki often gets criticized on this show, especially for his first touch. Yeah, he didn't have a great game today.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, I wouldn't have played Martinez and Falcon for the combo. I would have played Aviles and Allen or Aviles and Falcon. David Martinez, I'm sorry, buddy, but you lost your spot. And other than that, Kremaski, I think I would have probably maybe thrown him to the right if you want to keep him starting. But I mean, Kremaski, that's going to be another discussion that we're going to have in this because Scott is bringing up a really good point. Krem is a backup. I don't want to say he's a backup. I don't want to define
He is a backup.
him.
No, but he is.
But he's a great backup.
If Fafa was healthy, Fafa would be starting on the left side.
Yes.
Right. So, I mean, that's Fafa's position, just that Fafa's injured.
Yes. Shout out to Angel with a freaking solid comment. Starting 11. Did you like?
Well?
Yeah, Segovia played fairly well. I mean,
he was creating for others. I thought he played well. I mean, he didn't obviously get any anything that ended up resulting in a goal, but I thought that he was creating opportunity. I thought he played well. I didn't think that Segovia played poorly.
So this starting lineup when it came out, yay or nay?
Absolutely nay. And Mr. Krabs, yes, I am under the weather. That's why if you were here when the show first started, I don't know what the heck that was, but that was probably the worst Chris the Herons are back I've ever done in our 320 episodes. I was not a fan. I thought it was weird that they switched Allende and Kremaki from left to right when they played so well against Houston. I didn't understand the center backs. I understand that when Martinez started over Aviles or Allen. So yes, that those were the reasons that I was unhappy, and we figured that Messi wasn't going to play.
Yeah, and I mean, look, people are asking. That my name is JF says, you guys think Messi is resting or injured after today? Look, I think the truth is what it's what Mascherano's been saying. He doesn't want to overload Messi, and he feels like in this case, playing against Cavalier, he probably overestimated them. Decided, let's not play Messi now. Reserve him against what could clearly be one of the other great Eastern teams in the MLS, which is Charlotte this weekend. And then if he keeps it close, right, we still go to Jamaica and he'll play in Jamaica. Now, the question now is, if he's not going to play in Charlotte, is he going to play in Jamaica? Like,
I think there's more of a chance of him playing in Jamaica next Thursday than in Charlotte on Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they'll give him another week of rest.
Not Charlotte, here in Miami, but against Charlotte.
Yeah, against Charlotte, yeah. I'm sorry, did I say in Charlotte? Yeah, against Charlotte on Sunday. I think they're I don't think he plays on Sunday. I think we have more of a chance of seeing him next Thursday. Next Thursday. We need a win. And look, even without Messi, even playing a horrible game, and again, I want to give credit to Cavalier because I thought that they came out and for a bunch of young kids, like the average age on that squad is 20 and a half years. Like those are young kids. They came and they played their butt off. They really showed a lot of heart. And we're saying, even though Inter Miami only won 2-0, that it was a bad performance by Miami. So I mean, we think that Miami doesn't need Messi to play to win next Thursday. But I would like to see Messi suit up for Champions Cup games and not take anything to chance.
Yeah, and Carlos Eleven's mentioning Gressel has shown he can play pretty well when Messi is out. Sucks his role has disappeared 1,000%. He played phenomenal when Messi was out, and it does suck that his role has kind of
and Pedri saying that the coach is telling us Messi is resting, and that Inter Miami fans rather believe fake reports. We've seen this before. Where they just don't tell us what's going on, and we find out later on.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, no, that they were injured and that's why they're out. So,
listen, I believe that Messi's dad, it probably doesn't know his injury status. Nobody knows, and nobody's
I'm not
gonna
sure.
know.
You have to clarify. I'm not sure what you mean by Mascherano's playing both competitions. Alberto, I'm not sure what that meant.
Yeah. But yeah, both of us did not like this starting lineup. Dudu, Brown.
I agree.
So other than that, the game starts off. Okay. We start off the game. First half, I mean, nothing really happens. It's very sloppy. Now, it's unexpected to see Miami sloppy. It was expected to see Cavalier sloppy because we know young guys don't have as much class as guys that are a little bit more veteran or more seasoned. right? That's how it felt to me. It felt a little sloppy.
I missed the first 15 minutes because I am under the weather. I tried to take a nap before the game, and I ended up sleeping through my alarm and overslept. So I started watching the game like in the 15th minute. But so I don't know what happened the first 15 minutes. I don't know. Maybe you could fill me in. But when I started watching, we were talking yesterday on the preview show, and I said, do you think there's a chance that they kind of bunker down and try to play the counter because I feel like that's our weakness? Bam said, I don't think so because you'll probably score if we do that anyway. So why do it?
Yeah.
It looks like they try to do it. They try to defend and just play the counter. And that's, look, if a team's going to beat Miami, I'm sure they could win in other ways depending on the team. But that is, if you are a team that is inferior in talent, that's the way to play Miami, especially if you have the pace that Cavalier has.
Yes.
And I thought that they were pressing, man. They were on it. And like I said, once we had that 3-man back line when Alba pushed up and we were giving them all the space out wide, they were attacking those spaces. They were long balls to the left or right wing, and they were attacking those spaces to get the ball down, and they would try to work it in. Like, again, they didn't have the I guess I don't want to say the skill, but they just weren't able to do enough with the opportunities they had. But a better team makes us pay.
Well, the crazy thing, a shout out to Rob Wise. It's been a while, been a hot minute since we've heard from you, buddy.
Is he on here?
Yeah. He's the one that just requested #free Robert Taylor.
I'm sorry. I try not to pay attention too much to the comments as Chris pulls them up sometimes because then I lose my train of thought.
Listen, I'll tell you right now, just in a quick synopsis, if you're only going to be here for a couple minutes, shout out to Cavalier. They play their asses off, and they got robbed on the first goal. That's what I think. Okay.
I agree.
I'll tell you, as far as from what I saw, because you're talking about the counter, right? If their passing was just 10% more accurate than what it was, those long balls that they tried to get on those people hitting the streaks would have made it, especially with the pace that they had. Yeah.
And they had a couple of opportunities where they would just whiff on the shot. And I'm telling you, a better team. And Jay's putting out here, and we're going to have this conversation. If we move on, which I think we feel like we should, right? We should be Cavalier next week also. Yeah. But if we move on to the next round, there's a good chance we're playing against LAFC. And LAFC, they have now adopted a very much counter-attacking way of playing. And we're probably going to have Eric on from, I forgot what his new podcast is called, Section 126 or something like that. But he's going to come on with us, and he's going to be our guest for those shows if we play against LAFC. And there's a good chance that we struggle big time against LAFC because we're struggling against the counter. And with Denny Boagna's fast ass, it could be a problem.
Yeah, I think honestly, it's going to be a good matchup to look forward to for sure. And Jamaican Premier League fan is saying thanks, and honestly, they were nervous. They're normally a little bit sharper in that in the final third. I mean, look, absolutely, you could tell that the nerves were. You could tell that there was nerves there. I mean, look, this is a big game. There's, I started thinking about this after we had Bam on yesterday. Like, there's a lot of pressure, even like with millions of fans that were watching this game.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like they got eyes on them now that they never had expected 48 hours ago. So this is a big game, not just in terms of like the tournament, but like for the future of a lot of these players. And I mean, I get it, but in my opinion, if the passing would have been like 10% better, if the quality would have been 10% better, and they would have connected on a lot of those sort of streaky passes down the sideline, it would have been problematic more than it was.
They got into dangerous positions constantly. Yes. I'm telling you, if we're gonna have Jordi Alba pushing up that high, just have him play in the fucking midfield or in the wing. Like, we need a defender back there to defend these counters. Defending with three, trying to keep that compact and giving them the wide areas when they're racing down there with all that pace, getting into those positions. Yeah, we lucked out today that they weren't able to do much with it. But I'm sorry, against a better opponent, that might look different. And I'm kind of curious as to how this game would have turned out if that goal would have counted.
Yeah, well, I want to get to that, but I want to get to this comment here because everybody's saying this, and I don't like this. People are this is lazy. This is lazy. And shout out to you, Walter. You're typically a good commenter, and I get it. I
Wow,
understand
Walter, Walter, you know what? I would never get on this show again because Chris that was horrible.
No, because
You
look,
just
I
called him
get it.
lazy. You just called him
No,
lazy.
I'm saying this response here because he's not the first. He was just the last.
But you called him
But
out.
there's been like 4 or 5 people. Walter, all right, let me take the name down. So there's been like 4 or 5 people that have
Walter,
said
I like
that
you, Walter.
No, I'm saying I like Walter too. Like, I mean, but at the end of the day, people are saying that they played down to the competition. That's not the case, dude.
No, I don't think they
go
did.
Go back to this starting lineup here. Go back to the starting lineup. Like, we had no retention. Like, I don't understand. Martinez,
Rotation.
Falcon, they couldn't retain the ball. No, we had no retention.
Oh.
Right? Kremaski couldn't retain the ball. Segovia had multiple people around him. I don't know what was happening. It was sloppy as hell the first half. Busquets managed to be able to hold the ball, but Redondo wasn't the best in handling the ball.
I don't know if anybody in the chat hasn't looked at the stats yet. I just looked at them. And you saw all the opportunities that Cavalier had going down the wings and just in the counters in general. And you were to guess because it felt like they were just constantly putting themselves in good positions to possibly score. If I were to ask you how many shots do you think they got off? How many shots do you think they got off? And then how many shots do you think they got off on goal? Chris, I don't know if have you looked at the stats?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay. So with all the opportunities they had, how many shots do you think they got in the whole game?
I'd say in the whole game, it felt like 4, 5.
Okay.
Maybe 6.
And then on target?
Not many were on target. Maybe like 1 or 2.
So it felt like they were constantly pressuring us with the counter, but they just didn't have the quality to finish. They only got 5 shots off the whole game, only 1 on target. I think a team that's more experienced, right, not as young as them, and has maybe slightly better quality, they might make us pay. So I do think that Inter Miami fans and Inter Miami themselves should feel a little disappointed with the performance. And that's crazy because they won 2-0, right? That's a pretty good result. But just the way that we came about it, I think that it was disappointing.
This is a good point by Mike V saying, can we talk about how Frey looked rough this game? It looks like he got some weird instructions to not go forward.
Absolutely. No, he did.
Danny mentioned this in the beginning, guys.
No,
like Mike,
when
Danny got notes too.
When we were on the ball, we were playing with 3 in the back. And Jordi Alba just became, I guess, a left winger. I don't know what the hell he was doing up there. But Jordi Alba was pushing up, and Frey came back. They were playing with 3 in the back. I guess to help defend the counter, I guess was the extra defender instead of having both fullbacks push up. But I'd rather have Yannick Bright back there and let Ian Frey do what he does or help defend because I felt like it was rough. We were giving him I'm blanking here. The wide areas, I guess you could say, because they were just running up and down.
Well, speaking of that goal, Danny, and I want to get to Pedri Potter's comments so bad, but like I don't, okay? So I just want you to know, Pedri, I saw your comment, but I'm not going to talk about it, even though I'm talking about it, okay? But we get to the point where it's literally extra time. I told my son, I was watching the game with him, I said, I think this is going to be a goal. And perfectly passed ball, right? Who was it? I don't even know who the goal scorer was, but perfectly passed ball. The Cavalier actual goal.
Shaquille Steen.
Yeah, it was Shaquille that made the goal, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was King or someone else that passed it, but dude, that was. I mean, you could see the joy out of this team.
Absolutely.
To get the first goal at Miami. I mean, listen, if they would have gone into the halftime with this goal, this game would have been completely different. Did you see the disheveled faces on everyone wearing pink on the pitch?
And I want to, before we get into that, I don't want to go without bringing this up. Falcon did play great today.
Yes.
Because he was defending a lot of those counterattacks and kind of stopping a lot of those counters. So yes, that's a great point by Jan PL fan. Um, so did you think it was offside?
No,
Neither did I. If Inter Miami is up 3-0 at that point, do you think they call it offside?
no,
Neither do I.
no.
I think that
I think,
if Miami is kicking their ass, they're like, give them the goal.
yeah,
I,
I
and
think
and
so.
you know that is that's what I think. And Lewis says that it is offside, because he tried to play the ball. I guess is what Lewis is gonna say, because that's what I was seeing. His arm was offside, and because he tried to play the ball, um, they say that that is considered offside. He didn't touch the ball.
He didn't touch the ball, and he didn't affect the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
He didn't affect the
Well,
goalkeeper, and he didn't touch the
I,
ball.
I I didn't think he affected the goalkeeper either. So
Yeah.
uh, you guys still with this gimmick of backing referees? Who
Well,
backs the referees? Didn't we just poo poo?
who,
Pedri, you be a pain in the
Pedri? Are
ass
you
today.
drunk?
What the
Are
hell's-
you drunk? Did you
I think
just?
he's just here just trying to annoy us today.
Are you just being a troll? Just say
I
yes
think
or no.
so.
Are you being a troll? Yes
Because
or no?
then we just poo poo all over the refs the last like week. Um, yeah, I was surprised, and I think that if Miami's up 3-0, I don't think they call it offside.
Listen,
I don't. I thought that was I wouldn't have called that offside.
I listen, I'm an Inter
But yeah,
Miami fan
there
through
were
and
two men offside. I only saw one, the one with the
no, it was
elbow.
only one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, what do you mean nobody is onside that play? Sergeant, Sergeant, are you watching the same game as us? I, I don't get it. I don't get it.
All right. Well,
And then
like I
people
said,
think that we were watching the wrong game.
and everybody's saying it's a clear offside. Yeah, it's a clear offside technically. Yes, his elbow was offside, but he didn't have anything to do with that play. He never touched the ball. If you want to say that he played the ball because he tried to get the
I
header,
guess because he wanted a header.
yeah, I guess, but he didn't affect the play. And like I said, I think that if Miami's winning 3-0, 4-0, if they're dominating, I think they give it to him. But whatever.
Well, that I imagine that really sucked for Cavalier, and they must have been super pissed, and obviously thought that the fix was in, but they said, "Fuck it, 0-0. We're gonna start the half." What did you think of the first half before we even get to the second half?
I thought that it was really bad. I thought that the first half was really bad. I thought that they were terrible in the final third.
Yeah.
They kept turning the ball over. They couldn't connect. And then, like I said, I think that the speed of Jamaica, even in on defense, the way they were closing out spaces, where I felt like Miami thought they had a good run in behind and they could connect with the ball, a through ball to get them into
Yeah.
I don't know, a scoring opportunity, and they would close those spaces off quickly. I thought that they did a good job defensively, and as soon as they had the opportunity, they were playing that ball forward immediately. So I thought that it was a very, very, very disappointing first half. And I also thought that the way that the first half ended, that was going to be the game changer. I thought, all right, that just deflated Cavalier, and
Yeah.
now Miami is gonna go into the locker room. Mascherano is gonna kind of knock some
Blow
sense into
everything
them, be
up.
like, yeah, and that's it. And we need to get on this, and that they would come out with some more urgency in the second half. And that's what I was thinking at halftime.
Well, we get to the second half, okay, and I started watching like 4 or 5 minutes into the second half. I don't think I missed anything, but I do know that they did make a substitution shortly after I started watching, where they took out Falcon because Falcon apparently picked up an injury. I don't know if it looked like he
In the
got
first
Charlie
half.
horsed. It was in the
Something
first
happened.
half. It looked like a
But-
Charlie horse to me.
But if it would have been a Charlie horse, 15 minutes of halftime and everything, I think he would have been better. It had to be something a little more serious. And David said we got outpaced. All our passes were getting into. Yeah, I'm telling you that I think that even on defense, the speed at which they would close out in those spaces to get their foot on balls was pretty wild.
No, I mean they made it to spots. They made it to spots a lot quicker than our guys did. Again, if this team Cavalier just had 10% more quality, right?
They would have scored once, at least once.
My goodness. I mean, it would have been a disaster for
And it was wild because they would kick some long balls, and I was like, man, they're kicking it out wide. And like we'd have a defender there. I'm like, we have to get that ball. And they would catch up to that ball. A lot of times win those balls. It was wild. I don't I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm worried about next week. I know I'm getting ahead of myself because we're not talking about that game yet. I wouldn't say I'm worried about losing next week, but they got to come out a little more conscious of how to play against this counter.
Well, another part that I also noticed is that defensively, like you'd expect, okay, such a pacey team, maybe they're not as great off defensively. They were meeting the ball whenever Jordi Alba would do like the high cross. Mm-hmm. Like, he would all run it down and then do the cross high to the box instead of inside and towards the goal. Every time he did a high cross, they robbed it immediately.
Like the top of the box?
Yeah, like the top of the box. They said, no, we're not doing this today.
No. Look, they were well structured. You weren't getting a ball into that box, and they were cutting down every pass. They were intercepting passes left and right. I thought that they had a good game plan, definitely. So, I good for them.
Well, and I mean, Mariela, I don't know. Maybe they did study our guys. Maybe they did a little bit more. Look, they probably have more footage on us than we had on them. But for the most part, I imagine that they kind of saw what their key plays were and said, we got to shut those things down.
Look, we've always had this issue. Remember when we played against Nashville all those times? Like the teams that kind of bunker down, we have a hard time breaking down. Like, eventually we get in there, but that's just football though. Like any team that plays that low block, it's hard to score.
So after Lujan comes in for Falcon, right? We got 11 minutes later, we finally get our first goal. Okay. And Owen is saying Miami should be worried after that performance. Reminded me of playing Atlanta. It gave me Atlanta vibes. We get our first goal, Danny, 61st minute. It was a funky play. Looked like it was about to go out of bounds. Luis Suarez is literally out of bounds. Left foot is stepping outside. He is outside of the bounds area, right? Kicks it in apparently before the sphere of the ball goes over the line.
But did they show a replay? Because I felt like they didn't show any replays that really like showed a good angle of that.
They did, but then they just cut it off the feed. They just cut it off the feed. They gave another angle.
I mean, it did look like he might have saved it. He might have saved it before, but I didn't get a clear. But I didn't think it went out of bounds from the angle I saw. I just wish I would have seen a better angle, but I didn't think it went out of bounds.
It was debatable. As debatable as the offsides call was, that's how debatable this was.
I don't know. I didn't think it from the angle that I saw. I didn't think it went out of bounds. Of course.
Well, and I texted you. I said that ball looked like it went out of bounds, and he ended up. I mean, it was a beautiful play, beautiful for Luis Suarez to keep it in, right? Kicked it back in,
and that was all on the keeper, right? Because that ball would have gone out.
Yes,
and he tipped it up and kept the ball alive.
Yes, he did. That's what I noticed about that keeper is that he kept on tipping it up. He's not grabbing the ball. And then Tadeo Allende from the top just blasted low and in. And it was okay. So 1-1 goal is chiming in saying they showed a replay on 2DN. He was in. It was fine. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. And 1-1 goal saying again it was clearly in. Clearly offside. You guys are wrong.
Well, and not to get too much into this. Yes, I understand that the freeze frame shows that he's offside, but he had nothing to do with the play.
Yes, he didn't touch it.
That's why I think that it shouldn't have been called offside. Yeah. And if you say that he somehow distracted the keeper, I don't think that that's a fact either. I don't think that him playing that ball, trying to get the head on it, I don't think it had any
no way.
Any effect on that play. So I wouldn't have called it offside. I do understand, though, that everybody it's clearly offside. Did you not see the red line?
The red line with the green laser? Oh, my God.
You guys are the worst.
Yeah.
We get it. Yes, I get it. The freeze.
We saw the lasers.
We get it. But because he didn't actually have any contact with the ball. I didn't think that it should have been called. But, it is what it is.
I need to bring this up because I forgot to bring this up in the last game that we had in this tournament. Mike B says, can we also talk about how much Fox Sports soccer sucks at soccer games? I wish it was ESPN so I can get my Ray Hudson fix. I felt really bad for the last game in the tournament because there was one guy doing both play-by-play and color commentary. One guy, all game. I'm actually surprised that they were able to afford 2 other people. I wanted to post this on Twitter. I just didn't know who that guy was because I wanted to say, dude, you need a vacation because he did a whole game all by himself. So I agree with you, Mike.
I bet Pedri finally had a good comment.
Oh, really? Should we put it up or no?
Go for it, yeah.
Oh, okay. Pedri Potter says, oh, yeah, Mr. Krabs. Allende was playing for Celta Vigo. Meanwhile, Campana was benched by Joseph and 40-year-old Suarez. Meanwhile, Chris was hyping Campana all this time. Listen, Pedri, my son right here is a big Campana fan. Okay?
Well,
whether you and I like it or not.
And for the record, Daniel Allende wasn't playing for Celta Vigo. He was on the roster, but he wasn't playing.
Yeah, he had like 1 minute. Okay,
yeah.
get your facts straight, Pedro. You don't know ball. You don't got notes. Okay, get out of here.
He was on the roster, but he really wasn't playing for them.
This guy
and somebody
barely
said that
cleaned floors for them.
And somebody said that if Cavalier, if that goal counted and it disqualified us from the CCC, that we wouldn't be singing a different tune. No, I wouldn't. I'd still say that I didn't think it was offside. I'd say that Miami should have won, but all right. Sorry to cut you off there, Chris.
So yeah, I mean, basically, Luis Suarez keeps it in bounds. It gets over to Allende. He blasted low and fast, and it was a great kick. It was a great goal. So,
and then Pedri Potter one more time. Yes, he did score twice. He played 2 games, both Copa del Rey games, and he scored when he came in as a substitute in the second half of both those games. So he played probably less than 90 minutes in total. So, Pedri, go ahead and check your facts because I got mine.
Check your facts, bro. All those balloons were for you, Pedri. Congratulations with your facts. So, yeah, that was a nice goal. Tadeo Allende. Allende is just doing nothing but impressing us, right? Like, that's what he's doing now. He's that guy.
Yeah, well, we said he is that guy. I definitely think that we both said, though, at least I think we both said, I don't remember what you said actually now that I think about it, but that Segovia and Allende would be the starters. No, actually, I think you hated on me when I said Allende because you wanted Robert Taylor.
No, absolutely not. I knew that Allende was going to be a problem when we got him. I knew it, bro, from the beginning. I was pissed because he's going to take Robert Taylor's spot.
We're going to have to go get these receipts because now I'm starting to think that maybe you did it.
Go find the receipt, bro. Let me move on to go, bitch.
I'm not going to find them now, but I'll have to go back and check because I think that you might have poo-pooed on Allende, actually. But I can speak for myself. I thought that Allende and Segovia would be ballers and they would both be starters. And I'm really happy. Hopefully that they could both stick around together for the next 2 seasons, right? This year and next at least.
Much appreciated there, Pedri. That's another good comment. So, Pedri, you're hot and cold, but so far you're warm, okay? Look, Mr. Krabs is saying I want Allende's jockstrap. You think the guy that wants Allende's jockstrap, sounds like I'd be killing Allende? I don't think so, buddy. Okay. There was a comment that I just had up here, man, and shit, I lost it.
Well, I know you already talked about the first goal, but
to
start that second half, I did, and look, I'm wearing the homegrown shirt. What a coincidence that you're saying that, Scott.
Of course they've been slamming us because you're wearing that shirt. We don't favor, and we don't favor because they're saying that you and I say that David Ruiz and Ben Krem are better than Redondo and Segovia, I guess, and Messi.
I don't say that. I don't say that.
Apparently, just throw Messi in there.
I would put Allen over Martinez. And I would put Ian Frey over all the other right backs.
Super Slam, 95 southbound. Blake Keitlinger? What a last name, bud. 4 facts. Much appreciated. That was let me tell you, that's one of the top 5 last names I've ever seen in my entire existence. So, and Pedro Potter saying, just to annoy Chris, I want to say Taylor out. Do this team need him? Well, they're going to need him because apparently, do you want Kremaki at left wing? Do you want Kremaki at left wing? Since you were hating on me for liking Kremaki, which I wasn't liking Kremaki.
You know, Kremaki gave like a solid forearm to the back of one of the players. I forgot who it was. It might have been Calvin. And Justin asked what we thought about Calvin. He was tearing it up that right side. I'll tell you that.
He was good.
Yeah. And I mean, look, they all lacked a little bit of quality in the final third, though.
This is a great comment by Juan de Oliveira. Says every signing Chris says they're not even silver on FC. That's so true. Not even a rare. Like, you give me a comment card? Get out of here.
So, like I was gonna say, to start the second half, I thought that it would have deflated Cavalier a little bit the way that the first half ended. With them over getting that goal taken away, and that Inter Miami would have came a little more, a little more serious, like a little more. Okay, let's take this seriously. And it was the complete opposite. The first 10 minutes of that second half, it felt like a continuation of the first half. I think that at some point, no matter how fast Cavalier is, eventually that has to tire you out. Running back and forth all the time. And I think that they finally started getting a little gassed out. And after Luis Suarez scored that, or I'm sorry, it was Allende scored that first goal, I think that a couple things happened. One, I think that might have taken a little more, it might have been a little more demoralizing for Cavalier, right? Because they've been busting their butt and they finally go down 1-0. And I think Inter Miami kind of took the air out of the ball. They weren't forcing the vertical passes anymore. I think that they were okay with horizontal passes, safe passes, and they're like, you know what, you're not going to keep beating us on the counter. We're up 1-0. We're okay with this score line, and we're just going to play the safer ball now. And I think that is why after that goal, things really slowed down for Miami, and Cavalier just wasn't as effective. I think that they might have been a little tired, deflated after that goal, and Miami just wasn't pushing the issue anymore. They were playing a lot safer balls and a lot more horizontal passing than vertical.
Well, I think that's the point that Sean was bringing up earlier, is that Mascherano dumbed down the game plan, I guess.
Okay.
So that's, I think, the point he was making, is he just said, let's simplify this. Let's connect more passes. Let's be a little bit
easy
more
passes. Yeah, we already got the lead. There's no reason to kind of push the envelope. Right? That's it. We got the lead, and we're okay with ending this game 1-0.
And look, at the end of the day, like you said, the speed, it's at some point it's going to come down. You just can't run around like that for 90 plus minutes. And class beats fast.
Chris, can I bring up something real quick before we keep going?
Sure, man.
Walter never commented after you insulted him. Walter, if you're still watching,
I noticed.
I'm sorry, Walter. Chris is a piece of crap, and I apologize.
I picked that up, man. I'm sorry, Walter. I'm really sorry, buddy. I'm really sorry. You weren't the first one. I just want to mention that. You were one of the last ones, probably the last, to be perfectly honest. I don't think anybody else said that comment. But you were the first. And Walter, I'm sorry. I will let you sell me a car. I promise. Okay.
Yeah, we absolutely. Shout out to Scott Carey. Yes.
Now we're what are we doing? We're putting RIPs in the comment for Walter.
We miss Walter.
I don't get this, Mr. Krabs. Do you want me to not smile, to not be happy? I cannot be happy.
No worries, love the show. No, Walter. No, you don't have. No, I want you to insult Chris before you keep going. You have to insult Chris.
But I'm not going to be happy because I'm sad now because Mr. Krabs says I smile too much.
All right. So after that goal, I felt like the game changed. Like I said, Inter Miami was okay with that 1-0 score line, and they weren't being as aggressive anymore. They were making sure that they weren't going to get beat on the counter. And that's how basically I felt like the second half played out. And I think the game started opening up a little more. Jamaica didn't have as many opportunities to counter, so they had the ball at their feet, and they aren't good building up play, right? I want to say it was a JMPL fan that told us yesterday when I asked our guest a question. I said, if you had to tell Miami this is how you beat Cavalier, what do you do? And he said in the chat, he said, give them the ball because they're not going to know what to do with it. And I felt like when we stopped pressing the issue and giving them opportunities to counter us, that's what ended up happening. They had a hard time building up the play, and we ended up finding more opportunities to counter ourselves or to play once they turned the ball over in the midfield, which is how we ended up scoring that second goal. Lujan passed it over to Suarez, and with no contention because I don't know where the Cavaliers players were, and Suarez played the ball.
Well, they lost it.
Yeah,
well,
exactly,
they lost it. King lost it.
Cavalier, like they said, and like they said yesterday, if you want to be Cavalier, let them hold the ball because they have a hard time building up that play. And that's what we saw. After we scored our first goal, it was a completely different game. Inter Miami looked far and away better. Like it was, like we say that they looked bad, right? It was lackluster and bad. But after that first goal, like you could see this is what Miami should have looked like from the start. And I thought that it was obvious that Miami was the better team. And like I said, once Cavalier couldn't get that counter going anymore, they kind of just ran out of ideas, and Miami kind of just created more chances.
I need a sound effect, Danny. Can you give me a sound effect real quick?
I don't know what sound effect you want, but let me just pull up a random one.
Much appreciated. Say shout out to you and not to Mr. Krabs because now I'm not happy.
Okay. So what did you think about the second goal?
The second goal was a complete mistake by Cavaliers. And again, they were gassed at that point. They were gassed. They weren't on their best form, and they ended up just losing a pass and not talking. I'm going to just be even sadder. 48 likes, 226 people watching. Come on. Let's go click the likes.
Like I said, I thought that once Cavalier couldn't get the count anymore and they had the ball and they had to build up the play slowly, you could just tell that they just were a little lost in that aspect. And, Inter Miami just looked the better side at that point.
Look, you defined it best. You said at some point the speed is going to gas itself out. They're not going to be able to keep the same momentum. You can even substitute other people coming on, but you still have the majority of your players that are still exhausted. So,
and Mr. Miami Knights asking, how does Redondo even keep getting playing time?
Because of Pedri.
I think that it has a lot to do with they want to hold possession. They want to help. They want to be aggressive, right? Because I feel like if you play Bright, you're playing a little more defensive, and they're supposed to give you more in the attack. Now the issue is that him and Busquets are the same player, so I feel like I want to see Redondo play with Bright. That's what honestly I would want to see. And I'm not saying that I don't want to see Busquets on the team or not play, but I am curious to see what that would look like and see how Redondo would look with Bright behind him, where he knows, okay, Bright's got my back defensively. I can kind of just create the way Boosie does. But I will say that the way Redondo's been playing so far, I'm okay with Bright getting all the starts moving forward.
Well, I mean, at the end, Busquets came out and Bright came in for him, right? And
it was the end of the game by then. But yes, I know.
Yeah, I mean, so they did at some point try that. But I mean, obviously, it's towards the end of the game, so you're not going to see the fruits of it.
It was the 65th minute, and at that point, there was no more counter attacks from Cavalier. At that point, we had already scored. Like I said, we started playing a little more possession, not very aggressive in the attack. It was a different game by then.
So before we get to the standout, I want to bring up these comments. I just bookmarked them. Wait, hold on. You want to go through that?
Yeah, and Mariela says, thanks guys for doing this. I love it. I love it coming to the chat after every game. It's like getting together with friends. That's what we do in Argentina every time. Shout out to you, Mariela. Yes. I appreciate that.
Yeah, round of applause to you, and not to Pedri. Okay, and then Abe is asking, isn't Chris participating in the weight loss challenge? I participated. But then I enjoy pastelitos from Vicky's Bakery. Yes. I didn't say I was successful in it. I haven't been successful.
To
But
be fair, I only lost 10 pounds myself, so
yeah, but like you can it takes a little while for you to shed weight because you're already like pretty fit. So
yeah, because my goal was to lose 20 to 25, so I
yeah,
didn't even get halfway there, almost halfway.
yeah. Well, who is your standout?
I'd say Falcon. I think that he did a great job defending those counterattacks. So if I had to choose one person, Falcon. If I have to choose, or just standouts in general, Falcon. I thought Segovia had a good game, even though it was a quiet game. I thought Segovia had a decent game. Um, and I guess Allende, I would say, my standouts.
I didn't bet AZ. I was going to bet Allende first goal. Okay, David is saying Boosie. Miami King saying Falcon Boosie. Rubita says Lewis. Amanda says Allende. I'm gonna go with
Suarez.
Allende.
Suarez also. And Suarez wasn't playing his traditional 9 role.
Yeah.
Suarez was out on the right, on the left. He was dropping back to get the ball in the midfield. Like he was all over the place.
Yeah.
So he wasn't just waiting for service. So yes, Suarez was another one.
Yeah. Well, I would go with Allende. That's who I would pick.
Well, these are standouts.
Yeah,
And
that's
not
who that's
not man of the match.
well, no, I'm gonna okay, yeah. Oh, all right, yeah, you're right. Okay. With my standout, I would probably have to give it over to Falcon.
You give it to a couple people.
Fac-
Like I said, Falcon. As they said, Busi. Also, like I said, I thought Segovia had a good game. He was very active in creating. I think he looked a little gassed towards the end of the game, but I thought
Yeah.
those were all standouts.
I do think Falcon was my standout. And especially considering that he's had the least amount of time on this team specifically. And he's been mixed with so many different players back there. So for him to get like a really comfortable understanding, I imagine it's been pretty tough for him. So now, as far as the que penas go, are we doing starting lineups only, or are we gonna add somebody from the bench like we did last time?
We could add people from the bench if you think they were out there long enough and they were that bad, where you think that they stand out as somebody that deserves it.
Typically, I don't like to go with people off the bench because of the simple fact that they get handcuffed with the time that they have. So they have to do something extraordinary in the limited time that they get onto the pitch. Because I imagine like all of their ratings were like brutal.
Who? Justin Blair said Lang is his que pena as a defender. I don't know why. I'd love to hear why.
Well,
did he do something to cost them a goal?
I think he's the one that didn't defend the Luis Suarez goal, maybe. But que pena,
and shout out to Justin for understanding Spanish.
Oh yeah, look at that. Look at we were gonna have Justin on as Jamaican Justin last episode,
and now he's jumping in on our Spanish.
Now we can have freaking Juancito Justin. Justin, you're on it, baby. You're on it.
Juan Blair.
Juan Blair. There we go. Okay.
Like Juan Blair from now on.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I'm seeing a lot of Ben Creme. Ben Creme. I don't think I've seen anybody else. Redondo.
I listen, for all of you guys that claim that we love the homegrowns, I'm gonna have to go with Ben Creme as far as the starting lineup goes. It's such a shame, man, because like Ben Creme had a pretty decent showing last game. And I know that one of the things that's been happening with him is he's been thrown all over the place. But I gotta give it to Ben Creme. I can't.
What do you think about David Ruiz? I see a lot of people putting David Ruiz now.
Well, David Ruiz gave a brutal pass to Alfonso. And Alfonso looked back at him with the Samuel L. Jackson face. I'm like, oof, he's gonna get punched in the face in the locker room for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, David Ruiz was very limited in time. These guys come in, they're cold. I would have. Again, I'm gonna go with Ben Krem.
Amanda said Reese and Alfonso were both pooped tonight. Nice.
Dog water. Yeah.
I'll go with Ben Krem also. Yes. You know what? Absolutely, Mr. Krabs. Shout out to Mr. Krabs. Que pena word goes to Chris for insulting Walter. Walter, we miss you.
We just lost him.
We miss Walter.
Yeah.
All right. Man of the match other than Messi, because you know that tonight he could have been man of the match also.
Listen, he was there. So like everybody breathed his air.
Look, he is the reason that those Cavalier players were a little off. They were a little worried. They were a little nervous.
Yes.
So I think that he deserves some credit for that. But man of the match other than Messi.
Man of the match other than Messi, I'm going to go with Allende.
Okay. I know that this might be a little off just because he only played the first half, but I'm going to go Falcon. He was holding it down, I thought. Would they have finished any of those counters if he wasn't there? Maybe not, but I think that he did avoid them putting themselves in even more dangerous opportunities. I can see Luis Suarez man of the match also. Okay, he contributed in both those goals, even though he didn't get the second assist. He's the one that saved the ball, so he definitely was a contributor for both goals. So Luis Suarez is also a good choice. But man, I was really impressed with what Falcon did. So I'm happy that we have Falcon back there. Now I'm just kind of who we going to pair him up with consistently now.
Yeah, I don't know who we're going to be able to pair him with. I mean, I think unless Fafa makes a comeback, apparently he's been lined up to play, to represent Haiti, like already selected as a roster. I mean, I'd have to double check that, but apparently I'm not 1,000% certain on it.
Mr. Miami Night saying conspiracy theory. Were tickets so cheap because they knew Messi would be out? I don't think so.
They were so cheap because it's a freaking Thursday in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, because they know that even look, they now know, and we also know that even when Messi plays on a weekday, it's hard to fill that stadium up.
Yeah.
Look at I'm a diehard Inter Miami fan. For everybody that thinks that I'm too critical of them or whatever, I'm a diehard fan. I've been here since 2019, before the team even. Like as soon as the tickets went on sale that first day, minutes in, I was a season ticket holder, and I live over an hour away from there. On a weekday, it's an hour and a half minimum. I'm not going out there on a weekday.
Hell no, and I'm coming all the way from Homestead. No way, dude.
Yeah, so maybe on during the summer when I don't have work, even though other people still work, but the traffic isn't as bad because school is out. But right now, no, weekdays are impossible. If I get free tickets, like I thought I had originally gotten, then I'm like, you know what? How am I gonna let these go to waste? Then I'll sacrifice the hour and a half in traffic. But
you know,
it's not gonna happen.
But you're still paying. But even when we've talked about weekday games, you're still having to foot like a $30 parking bill. You're still having to fight the traffic to get there. Like, yes, it's easier to digest, but it's still a weekday game. Like, there's people years ago that you couldn't even give game tickets away.
Yeah, you
couldn't give your game tickets or parking passes combined.
Yeah, and Blake saying that he thought that we were going to the game. I wasn't.
No, I didn't say I was gonna go.
No, not on a weekday. You know what? I take that back. When they play against LAFC, I might have to make it to that match. The only thing that sucks is that they don't let us have our seats because we sit in the south stand. So that does suck. But against LAFC, I think that quarterfinals, maybe I'll make the trip out there.
I want to mention something because Pedri is saying, to be honest, I'm being honest, Americans don't want soccer to get bigger than any other sports. I totally disagree with this, Pedri. I totally disagree with this. There's a lot of Americans that are fans of the MLS. Look, I think that the MLS is going to be bigger than baseball in a couple of years.
Yeah, and hockey also. I think it's going to be the third biggest professional sport. And then it's saying Danny was there to see Pizarro. I was here to see our first captain ever. and without cheating, can anybody tell me who the first captain ever was? I'll give you a
Mm.
hint. Well, if I
Don't
give
give him
you
a
the hint,
hint. No,
yeah,
don't
no, if
do
I give
that.
them
Don't
the
do
hint,
that.
no, I
Don't
can't
do
give them a
that.
hint. Yeah. Oh, they have Google. They'll find out. If it's not in the next couple seconds, then they
Yeah, like if you don't type something in the next couple seconds, then you're cooked. Hold on. We just got the first one. Mike
No.
V. Right
No.
here.
No.
I mean, look at that. The rest are Googling.
Beckham, he should have been technically, but no, he was not the first captain either. It was not Pizarro.
Undertaker.
And no, Breck Shea, no, Breck Shea wasn't here to start that season. Higuain wasn't here for that start that season. Ryan Shawcross, I don't even want to remember that name. Sean Callahan got it.
The goalie.
Luis Robles was.
That's
our
right.
first
He was
ever
like
captain.
picked up. He was picked up like pretty. He was like a hot commodity when we got him. No,
Mr. Miami Night. No, he wasn't. He was in the latter end of his career. He was a big deal when he played for the Red Bulls, I think it was back in the day, but it was not Emerson. But yes, if trivia time, Luis Robles was Inter Miami's first ever captain.
everybody that ended up commenting after Sean was straight Google. So you're all disqualified.
Mm-hmm. All right. So go ahead, Chris.
My Italia moment of the match was how cool it was to be able to see how many Jamaican fans were at the game supporting. I think that's really cool, and it was really nice to see, especially knowing that teams from Jamaica don't typically come here very often. So,
I as I was watching the game, something happened, and I remember I thought to myself, "That's going to be my moment of the match," and I can't remember what it was anymore. But I remember thinking that. I remember thinking that, and I can't remember what it was anymore. So I'll say that it was the Luis Suarez, the way he saved the ball.
That was nice
right there before going about. I think that was awesome because that was the game changer. Once we scored that goal, it was a wrap.
Yeah, and Mike V.
Did you see the way Luis Suarez? 15 minutes. Luis Suarez like shoulder blocked him, and then he got mad because he went down. Yeah, Luis Suarez is constantly flopping himself. I'm surprised that he would get so mad that somebody else is flopping a little bit.
He's super unnecessary, like over the top, right?
Well, some people call it passion.
I guess it's just mad unnecessary.
All right, Chris. Overall thoughts, and because we won't be having a show between now and Sunday, and just in case you guys didn't know, we did our preview show for Charlotte yesterday. We did it live because I refuse to record on Fridays. Fridays and Saturdays are usually family days unless there's a game. So we're not going to have a show tomorrow. But we do have a preview for Charlotte if you haven't watched it already. But do you want to add to anything as far as today's game or leading into Sunday against Charlotte?
Well, Sundays are also family days, guys. So spend time on Sundays with the fam too. Trust me. Mm-hmm. I mean, other than that, look, the final thoughts are this game was kind of icky. It didn't feel like a 2-0 win. I'm hoping that we can have a better experience watching them on Sunday. I'm looking forward to going to the game for sure. So, other than that, it is what it is. I'm ready to rock and roll, baby.
Go ahead. Hold on. Go ahead. I think we got a super chat.
Oh, we got a super slam from Jamaica, Justin.
From Juan Blair.
There we go. Juan Blair says, want to start a Cavalier USA SG with me? Abso-freaking-lutely, dude. Abso-freaking-lutely.
You know what we should do? We should do but we have to do it when we have a guest.
Yeah.
Because I wish I would have done it, and maybe we'll do it next week. Hit them with the start of a song, see if they can finish it off.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I think that's it. As long as
see if they. No. I wanted to hit them, and I'm gonna wait. I have one in mind, because it's reggae, but I will leave it for next week's episode to see if you or our guest can finish it off.
Well, Mike V's saying that bring back Bam. So
yes, absolutely. That's the plan. That's the plan.
Yeah,
the plan. Charlotte, do you think Messi plays?
I think so.
Okay. I have a feeling
I
he's
think
not.
so. I think so, man. Charlotte is like a contending team in the East. We're not playing against
But
New England Revolution.
They don't care.
Dude,
It's the regular
I mean,
season, and the regular season just started.
I think Mascherano cares enough. Soccer Daddy says I think he plays.
I don't think he plays. I think he plays next week in Jamaica. I could be wrong, right? Because I always said he's not going to play against Cavalier. He'll play against Charlotte. But now, I don't know. I'm getting a weird feeling that maybe he won't play. I hope he does, because I would love to see how he looks against this Charlotte defense. But
Yeah.
I have a feeling he's not going to play.
Yeah. Circus Fun says no Messi. And then Blake says muscles too worked. And then Owen is saying Messi rests this weekend and travels to Cavalier. One where one goal says, I love Bob Marley. I love Bob Marley too. His music is amazing. And if you haven't watched the movie, a movie just came out about him a couple months back. I think it was last year. It was really good. So,
and Dennis is asking, did Solana leave to Jamaica? Actually, he's in Uruguay right now. He's in Uruguay. He has his own like I don't want to misspeak. I think it's like a media company type thing that he has for Nacional, the team that his team, right? Because he likes Inter Miami, but his team is Nacional, and he has like a whole thing with them, and he's out there doing something with them.
And before we ride out into the sunset, Danny, we got Juancito Blair, Super Slam. I had 200 Bob and Peter Tosh songs on PSP. Let's fucking go.
I used to be really into reggae. It's wild. I think about it, and my wife's like, "Damn, why the hell do you like reggae?" I used to be really big on reggae. And I just want to say one quick thing. And I don't know if this is a hot take or not. Because I should have said it yesterday on a preview show. So a lot of people might not. Hopefully, they watch until the end. But if they don't, if Miami beats Charlotte without Messi, okay, if they beat Charlotte on Sunday without Messi, Miami will lose less than 4 games this year. I'm putting it out there. No team has gone a season losing less than 4 games. That's the least amount of losses any team has had ever in MLS history. Only a few teams have done it since we've gone to 34 games. I think LAFC did it. Nashville did it. We did it last year. If we beat Charlotte on Sunday without Messi, we're not losing more than 4 games.
That's steamy.
Yeah, I really do think that.
And it's as steamy as this Super Slam right here, Danny. Says this game made me Uber Oxtail going to do the same next match. Here we go.
I've never tried oxtail.
Oh my God, it's delicious.
I've never tried oxtail. Is it?
Yeah, it's still there. You gotta
go. I think ox, and I'm like, that doesn't sound like something I want to eat.
Yeah. And then look at Justin says GG's on the East if you beat Charlotte without Messi. Go ahead, bring up that other comment you had. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry. What's GG's?
Good game. Good game.
Oh, Danny, do you think Miami played well tonight? No.
I'm
assuming you jumped in. I'm assuming you jumped in late in the show. I've been saying it all the episode long. I think we played very poorly. And teams that have pace and are going to play the counter against us, we're going to have difficulty with. I think it was a very lackluster performance. But even with that, you still managed to leave 2-0. Hopefully that they don't underestimate anybody. And really, we don't have any more opponents to underestimate, because after this, at least in the CCC, we would probably play against LAFC unless Columbus has a crazy comeback in the second leg. So probably LAFC. Yeah. After that, Vancouver and Monterrey drew, I believe, 1-1. But I have a hard time believing that Vancouver can beat Monterrey in Monterrey. But if they can, it could possibly be Monterrey, Vancouver, Pumas, all possibilities in the semifinals, and then we don't know who would be in the finals. So, we'll have to wait and see. But I don't think that they'll be underestimating anyone. And Dennis is saying oxtail sounds gross. It doesn't sound appetizing. So that's why I've probably never tried it. It does not sound appetizing. And Juan,
It's like liver. It's like liver.
Ew.
You never eaten liver? I mean, it's not preferred, but it's whatever. I'll eat it.
Oh, ew. And Juan is saying oxtail is glorified roast. Ew. Liver. Yuck.
You've never eaten liver before. I'm not saying that I would prefer that's like my meal of choice. I'm just saying it's like eating liver.
All right. Yes, and Dennis has been telling me yes, Vancouver is legit. That's his dark horse. Look, I'd rather play Vancouver than Monterrey, even though I want that rematch from last year. All right, we're gas bagging at this point. Chris, any final thoughts?
Pedri, that's the worst comment I've ever seen in my whole life. Let's get the hell out of here before it gets any weirder, Danny.
All right, if you are listening on audio, we appreciate you listening all the way to the end. Please leave us 5 stars, comment, review, all that other good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. If you haven't already, please subscribe.
Water.
And for those of you in the chat, as always, you guys are the best part of the show. We appreciate you hanging out with us for the last hour and 10 minutes. And we'll be back on Sunday for our post game. It won't be right after the final whistle because we'll be at the game. So probably an hour after the final whistle. Okay, it's 4 o'clock game. Why is it so early? Like all the games have been 5 o'clock leading up to this. Why is it 4 o'clock?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I know this is a time change.
Happiness.
For those of you that don't know, this time change from Saturday to Sunday. So now it's going to start getting darker much later. But I don't know. I'm not looking forward to a 4 o'clock game. Shout out to you, Mr. Miami Knight. Appreciate you joining us. And I think that's it. We'll be back, like I said, on Sunday for the post game. I'm assuming game starts at 4. We'll be heading home at 6, so probably around 7 o'clock, give or take, will be the post game. So until the next one,
I think so.
have a good one. Liver.